Welcome back, Curious Minds, to the Deep Dive. This is week 29 of the 2025 Bluewater Auto Restoration Podcast. We release new deep dives every Saturday morning. Today, we're taking a really fascinating journey, I think, into the world of year of manufacture plates. You might know them as YOM plates. Have you ever seen a classic car, maybe at a show or just driving by, and it looks absolutely perfect, right down to the license plates that just seem to belong to that era? Well, it's probably not an accident. For classic car enthusiasts, or really anyone who's admired a vintage vehicle with that perfect period-correct touch, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're going to unpack what YOM plates are, how they work, some of the surprising ins and outs of getting them onto your classic ride. It's kind of a shortcut to being really well informed on this, and I promise there are some genuinely interesting facts tucked away in here.
That's exactly right. A lot of people see these plates and wonder, how does that work? It can seem like a pretty complicated process from the outside. So our mission today is really to clarify the whole YOM program, distill the key details, and help you understand not just what it is, but maybe more importantly, why it matters for preserving automotive history and, adding that really authentic touch.
Okay, then, let's get into it. Let's unpack this. So starting at the beginning, what exactly is the YOM program at its core? And, why are classic car owners so passionate about what seems like just a license plate?
Well, the year of manufacture, or YOM program, is pretty much what it sounds like. It allows you to register and, crucially, legally use original license plates from the exact year your classic vehicle was manufactured. So, picture a beautiful 1965 Buick Riviera rolling down the street. Instead of a modern, bright white reflective plate, it's got a pair of original 1965 Ontario plates. It's all about achieving that completely authentic, period-correct look. It's more than just a plate, really. It's like a visible piece of the car's history. It tells part of its story.
That sounds incredibly cool, but also very specific. I imagine there's some pretty strict rules then for what qualifies.
Oh, absolutely. There are definite rules. The fundamental one, the non-negotiable one, is that the year stamped right there on the license plates must match the model year shown on your vehicle's registered ownership. Like, exactly.
No wiggle room there.
Zero wiggle room. And generally, the program applies to passenger cars or light commercial vehicles. Think pickup trucks from 1973 and earlier. That's mostly because 73 was the last year Ontario actually put the date right on the plates for those types of vehicles.
Oh, okay.
Motorcycles, though, they get a little extension. They can use YOM plates up to 1975 just because their date stamp plates were made for a couple more years.
And the vehicle itself, any requirements there?
Yeah, a couple. It needs to weigh under 3,000 kilograms, so most standard cars and light trucks are fine. And importantly, it shouldn't be substantially changed or modified from its original condition. They want it looking pretty much like it did when it left the factory.
Right, keeps the historical integrity.
Exactly. And the plates themselves, they need to be original Ontario plates, obviously from the same year as the car. They have to be in, let's say, relatively good condition, legible, clean, not bent up or altered. They actually compare them to known original examples from that year to make sure the material, the color scheme, the layout, even the numbering sequence, it all matches up.
Okay, here's where I think it gets really interesting, especially for people whose cars are just, a little bit newer. What about cars from 1974 up to 1980? They fall just outside that main 73 cutoff. Is there some kind of clever legal workaround for them?
That's a great question. And yes, there absolutely is. It's a fully legal method using Ontario's personalized plate program to achieve that same vintage aesthetic. And honestly, a lot of people with cars from that era actually prefer the look of the older painted 6-digit plates. The ones, the blue and white with the Keep It Beautiful slogan.
Oh, yeah, the classic look.
Right. They often look much better on a 70s car than the modern reflective plates.
So how does this loophole work exactly?
It's kind of a neat little two-step process. First, you need to actually find and buy a good pair of vintage Keep It Beautiful plates from that 1974 to 1980 period. Make sure they're the number you want. Then, step 2, you go through Service Ontario and order new personalized plates. But here's the key. You order them with the exact same license plate number as that vintage pair you just bought.
Ah, clever.
It costs a bit more than the standard YOM application fee, usually somewhere around $310 for the personalized plates. Once your new personalized plates arrive in the mail, along with the official registration paper for them, you take those new plates and the paper down to Service Ontario to get them registered to your car.
But you leave the vintage ones at home for that part.
Exactly. Leave the old ones safe at home. Once the new ones are officially registered, you can then take your vintage Keep It Beautiful pair and mount those on your car. The brand new personalized plates you just registered. well, they can become cool garage art or something.
And that's allowed because the number matches the registration.
Precisely. It's permissible because plates issued from 1973 onwards were never actually withdrawn from service by the MTO. And an interesting side note, since Ontario got rid of the validation stickers back in March 2022.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah, so you don't even need to worry about having a current sticker. Some people even like to keep an old, unused 1970s sticker in the box with their new plates, just for that extra touch of, authenticity, even though it's not required on the plate itself anymore.
Okay, wow. That's a really smart way to handle those slightly newer classics. So let's say you have your correct year plates, either through direct YOM or this personalized route. What's the actual application process like for the main YOM program? You said it's not just a quick trip to the local office.
No, definitely not. It's a mail-in process, and it goes to one specific place. Once you have your plates ready, you need to package them up. You mail the plates themselves, your original vehicle registration, they're very clear, no photocopies, and your payment for the YOM application fee. That fee is currently $251.65. All of that gets mailed to the MTO office in Kingston.
Kingston. Okay, so that's the only place in Ontario.
That's right. Kingston is the only office that handles these YOM applications. And there's no counter service for this. You have to mail it in because you're sending original documents and plates. Using a courier service or at the very least registered mail is definitely recommended, just for tracking and peace of mind.
Okay, so you mail it off to Kingston. What happens then? What's the turnaround like?
Well, assuming everything is in order, the MTO folks in Kingston will review everything, approve it, and then they mail your plates back to you.
Right.
Along with the plates, you'll get an official approval letter. That letter basically serves as your proof of ownership for those specific plates. The whole process usually takes somewhere between 2 to 4 rinses, typically.
And then you're done. Plates go on the car.
Almost. Once you get the plates and that approval letter back, you take those, plus your original vehicle registration again, down to your local Service Ontario counter. That's where you do the final step of actually attaching the plates to your classic car's registration record.
Got it. So Kingston approves, then local office finalizes. What if it takes longer than, say, 4 weeks?
Yeah, if you find yourself waiting longer than a month or so, you can give the main MTO call center a ring. Their general number is 1-800-387-3445. They should be able to look up the status for you.
Good to know. Now, you mentioned the validation stickers being eliminated back in 2022. That sounds like a pretty big deal for YOM plate users. Can you expand on that?
Oh, it was huge. A really significant change. Before March 13th, 2022, YOM plate users had to pay the full annual license plate renewal fee, just like any regular car.
Right, even though they might not drive the car that often.
Exactly. The trade-off was you didn't have the driving restrictions that often came with the cheaper historic vehicle plates. But now, since the MTO eliminated renewal fees and the physical stickers for passenger cars, light trucks, motorcycles, and mopeds, that change also applies to vehicles registered under the YOM program.
So YOM plates are now free to renew annually.
Correct. No annual renewal fee. This was a game changer. It basically put the YOM program on par with, or arguably even ahead of, the historic vehicle program from an annual cost perspective. Because now you get the authentic plates, no annual fee, and no driving restrictions. It made the YOM option much, much more attractive for many owners.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, another term I've heard kicked around is terminated plates. What exactly are those, and is there anything different about registering them?
Right. Terminated plates, it sounds a bit dramatic, maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
But it just means a license plate number that was issued to someone else at some point, probably between the 1980s and now, but was then properly returned to the MTO, so it went inactive. The key thing is that any outstanding fines or fees tied to that plate from its previous life were dealt with when it was returned. It's basically a clean slate.
So it's like a previously used number that's back in the pool.
Sort of, yeah. You'll usually know if a pair you're looking at is terminated, because the seller might mention an extra MTO fee, typically around $32, often listed under a heading like terminated transfer fee.
Okay, so there's an extra step and a small extra cost involved.
Yes, exactly. Because there's an existing, albeit inactive, record for that plate number in the MTO database, they need to officially transfer it to you. So there's that additional $32 fee. What usually happens is, after you send in your main YO application, the MTO will send you a separate letter asking for this $32 transfer fee. They'll also include a short declaration form for you to sign. Don't worry, they hold onto your plate safely while this happens.
Is there a way to speed that up? Avoid the back and forth?
There is, actually. You can preemptively send that $32 transfer fee along with your initial YOM application. You can do it as a separate check made out to the Minister of Finance, or if you're paying the main fee by credit card using their form, just make sure you clearly indicate the extra $32 is for the terminated transfer fee. You can also ask them to email you the declaration form instead of mailing it, which can shave off some processing time too.
And just be absolutely clear, if you register terminated plates, you're not going to suddenly be on the hook for the previous owner's parking tickets or anything.
No, absolutely not. That's a common worry, but unfounded. The MTO performs checks to make sure there are no outstanding fines associated with the plate before they allow it to be transferred. You're starting fresh with that number.
That's reassuring. Okay, let's talk about the plates themselves.
Yeah.
Many of these YOM plates are, 50, 60, 70 years old or more. They might not be in perfect shape. Can they be restored?
Yes, definitely. And this is actually one of the really unique things about the YOM program in Ontario. Restored plates absolutely qualify as long as the restoration is done neatly and, critically, matches the original colors issued by the ministry for that year. It's the only program where the MTO officially allows repainted plates to be registered.
Wow, okay. So what does that restoration process typically involve? It sounds like it might be pretty detailed.
Oh, it's meticulous work, especially if it's done right. It often starts with carefully removing any dents or bends because, these plates have lived a life. Then, usually professional sandblasting to get them down to clean, bare metal. After that comes a good quality, often contractor grade, rust inhibitor primer. That gives a durable base. The color coat is where the real artistry comes in. They have to carefully match the original vibrant colors since there aren't usually official paint codes available from back then. Restorers often use near mint original plates as reference samples to get the shades just perfect. Then finally, the raised numbers and letters are painstakingly painted, usually by hand, often with several coats of custom mixed, durable, oil-based paint to make them stand out.